it's just Martine and welcome to the final week of Becca's Bookoplathon. If you want to see everything that I'm talking about and get caught up on my journey with Bookoplathon this month, I'll leave my previous vlogs listed somewhere over here. But let's jump straight into this week's rolls. Last week we ended on history. So roll 1. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cute. All right, so our first roll was cute, which is a prompt I've landed on before. The last time that I landed on it, I read What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. And this time I chose What Are Friends For by Sarah Sutton. Sarah Sutton has a YouTube channel and she talks about writing her books and all this stuff. And I'm pretty sure this was her first book, but I got it on sale for like 99 cents one day and I'm super excited to read some of her work. Roll 2. That's a double, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last letter, first letter. For our second roll, we got last letter, first letter, and the last book that I finished this past week, which is what I'm going off of, is The Year of the Runaways. And so that ends with an S, so I needed to find something that started with an S. And this was a little harder than I thought. But anyway, I'm going to end up reading Shadow Blade, and I literally don't know anything about it, so that's as much as I can tell you. Roll 3. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chance card, and that's Identical. For our third roll, we got a chance card and we got Identical by Scott Turow. I did buy this book on sale, but more full price than I usually buy things. I've been waiting to read this one for quite some time, but now I have a reason to, so yay, I'm excited about this one. Last roll. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Community shelf. Read something for a video. And our final roll of the month, it's very sad, is community shelf. I feel so lucky that I got both a chance card and a community shelf on this last week's round and a double. It's like the whole spirit of Bookoplathon is here with me this week, and the community shelf card that I picked is for a video, and already 2 of the books I'm reading this week are for videos, but I won't complain to add another one. So I'm going to be reading The Last Thing She Saw. I also know nothing about that one, so fun times all around. I'll start by saying that it's Tuesday morning, and last night after I got to 50% of War and Peace, which I've been reading since March, I let myself start one of my reads for this week. So I started with The Last Thing She Saw, and I'm like 25% of the way into this. I forgot to mention, my total page count for reading this week is like 1,134, and so I have to read about 162 pages a day. Definitely not the worst, nowhere near the worst page count per day that I've needed to read during Bookoplathon. A pretty standard one, actually. There hasn't been a single week where I've only read 3 books, which was my original plan for this. Oh well, I have started 1 book for this week so far, and I'm super excited to jump into my physical book. Last week I learned that I don't have much time where I'm reading physical books, so I really need to prioritize that at different points throughout the week, but it won't be now because I have class all day, and it's easier to read things on my phone when I have class instead of hauling books around. Although luckily this one is so much lighter than my book last week. My book last week was a hardcover, regular, like standard size. This is really small mass market paperback style, but it was like huge, and then it was almost 500 pages. So it was heavy. So I might carry this around this week some more because it's just easier. It also, the colors go with the start of fall. It's the start of fall. Yeah, so we'll see where the day takes us. Happy Friday morning. I did a weird mishmash of reading yesterday and so far this week. Did I tell you that I started Identical? Yes, I think I did. Yeah, I'm on page 60 for that. Haven't read anymore. It's that reading session. And then I did finish The Last Thing She Saw. I gave it 2 stars, and I'll talk about that more in a future video. And then I started both Shadow Blade and What Are Friends For, and I'm only like 5% of the way into both of those, so I don't really have thoughts. But life has been a little hectic, so I haven't updated you, but now I have, so ha. It's Friday night, it's just past 9 p.m. and Rylan and Stacia are hosting an impromptu 24 in 48 hour readathon. I'm definitely not going to be able to read for 24 hours, but to have like a little readathon within this readathon seems a good way to me to end it. So I'm going to start by reading some of Identical and I'm currently on page 111. So good morning, happy Saturday. It's like just past 10 p.m. and I ran and got some groceries with a friend and then got breakfast. Now I'm back for a little while before I have rehearsal, so I'm hoping to get some reading done because it's like 13 hours into this 24 and 48 and I'm 1 hour into reading. So here's to making a little bit more progress. I know I'm not gonna get the 24 hours, but I still do want to get as much reading done this weekend as possible, even though it's kind of a busy weekend. So I'm gonna sit down and read some Identical. I made it past the halfway point last night during my reading, so I'm on page 210. Let's read. It's 5:19 p.m. and I finished Identical a few minutes ago. I'm going to end up giving it 4 stars, and that was for the prompt chance card. Overall, I had a really fun time reading this book. I thought it was really interesting, and you'll hear me talk about it more at a later date. I had a good time reading it, and I'm glad that I finally got around to it because I've been wanting to read it for like quite some time. I've owned it for like several years now. I've also officially read for like a little more than 3 hours now in this 24 and 48 challenge that I'm throwing into this week. I'm pleased with that. It's not like the most amount of time ever, but I have already finished one of the books I was working on, so that's good, which means for this week I still have 2 left, Shadowblade and What Are Friends For. So I'm gonna get down to reading because I just took a few minutes off, and yeah. It's 6:40 and now I'm home and ready to read again. I read some of Shadowblade, and then the event that my school's hosting tonight was about to start. So I went to ensure I had like a pretty good place in line. Then I got in, I got my free t-shirt. I ate some dessert because the food wasn't ready yet. I had to wait like half an hour for them to make a veggie burger because they were already running behind on the regular hot dogs and burgers. And then the veggie burgers were just taking forever. It was really good once I got it, and I didn't mind much. I like waited around and enjoyed the like sunset and read some and talked to some people who I knew. But now I'm just sipping on a Dr. Pepper that I got from the event, and I'm gonna get back to reading. And now that my computer is fully charged because I was away for an hour, I should be able to pull up my ambient sounds and read that way, which is one of my favorite ways to read right now. An autumn cozy ambient sound up now. The one I was watching earlier while I was reading Identical was called like Cozy Autumn Lake House or something, and I loved it so much, so I'm probably gonna pull that one up again. I'm like 5 hours of reading into the weekend, and I just finished my next book, Shadowblade by Jay Aspin, and this was for the prompt first letter, last letter? No, last letter, last letter, first letter for that one. So I needed something that started with the letter S, so Shadowblade it was. I ended up giving this a 2.5 out of 5 stars for a couple of main reasons. One, it's a fantasy book, and so I'm already like iffy on those. The only fantasy books that I like ever give 5 stars are like 6 of Crows. And I did enjoy this, but it's like not going to be my favorite thing ever. My thing is like a 2.5 star rating is not like a bad rating. It means like it was pretty good. Like in Goodreads, that lies between a 2 stars, which is it was okay, and a 3 stars, which is I liked it. So I kind of liked it. There were parts I liked. I really enjoyed the like training sequences, and I thought the magic system in this book in particular was like really fascinating. Just at times I had like difficulty paying attention, and the political stuff, sometimes I'd be like, yes, I'm following. And then sometimes I'd be like, what? The one character that I like really, really loved in this, and that like if I were to continue the series, which of course I don't think I will, but if I were, it would like largely be for this character, is a secondary character in the like main battle group of warriors that's in this book, and his name is Darius, and he is a fae, but that's not why I like him. Although I do think this author's take on like fae powers is pretty interesting, but Darius as a character, there's just something about him that's like so calming and level-headed and that I really like. But he's also like, his character just has like this bright aura in my opinion, and he's one of the first people to accept the main character of this book. A lot of people don't accept her that she meets in this book, and it like their trust doesn't come easily to her, because in the beginning of this book she basically makes a deal with this entity called the Shadow Blade in return for powers. It's very much seen as like the dark and destructive way of obtaining these powers, and she's viewed as kind of like an abomination and not to be trusted, because most people who get their powers through the Shadow Blade are very like selfish and destructive, and they can't control their powers that they're given by the Shadow Blade, and so they like kill a bunch of people, and they're just kind of ruthless. So people don't trust her very easily, but like Darius is the first one too. He's just a great character. I really liked him. Not mad at this read at all. And now I'm probably gonna take a bit of a break from reading. It's 8:45 p.m. and I just like blazed through the second more than half of this book in like basically one sitting. So I need a bit of a brain break, and then I'll return to it probably by reading some What Are Friends For, or treating myself to starting a new book if I want, because I'm definitely going to finish my Bookoplathon books before Wednesday, so I could also read something else if I want. Decisions. Part of me is like, you can't start another book when you're reading The Fiery Cross and War and Peace, but heck yeah, I can, so just watch me. Happy Sunday, it's 1:37 p.m. and starting last night, but mainly today, I read Start With Why by Simon Sinek, which is a great book about how leaders inspire people to do things and such. And it was really good. I gave it 5 stars. It was one of those types of self-help books that like largely proves its points through stories about companies and such, which sometimes is off-putting for me, but especially since I listened to it as an audiobook, it was like good, and it was a really quick read. Yeah, my hold from the library came in on it, and since I'm doing this like 24 in 48, I was like, yeah, I'll do this, no biggie. That was nice to read something that wasn't technically on my Bookoplathon TBR, but now hopefully I'm going to read some of What Are Friends For and make some progress in that, because I'd love to finish that by the end of the day, and I'm like 25% of the way through that now. So I've also officially read for 10 hours. That's exciting. It's just past 8, so I feel like I should fill you in, because at like 3:35, I finished What Are Friends For by Sarah Sutton, and I'm giving it 5 stars. So I finished 2 books today, and both of those are 5-star reads, so it's been an incredible reading day. And then I had lots of stuff to do, and then I was relaxing and writing for fun a bit and stuff. And yeah, but since it's past 8 p.m., it's almost 9 p.m., and 9 p.m. is the end of the 24 in 48, so I wanted to wrap that bit up for you and say that I did 10 hours of reading for this, so not quite halfway to 24 hours, but still like a great chunk of reading. And in fact, I finished like 4 books during it, so that's incredible, because it also means that I finished this week's TBR for Bookoplathon, and so I'm officially done with my challenge to roll every week for Bookoplathon this September. Woohoo! Yeah, I think I'm probably just going to end this vlog here. I finished what I set out to read in it. To recap, this week I read The Last Thing She Saw, which I gave 2 stars? I read Identical, which I gave 4 stars. I read What Are Friends For, which I gave 5 stars, and that was for the prompt cute. And I read Shadow Blade, and I gave that like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. And then I also managed to squeeze in Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and I gave it 5 stars. So I technically read 5 books for the price of 4. I guess I should give you some final stats for the month, so let me grab those really quick. My Bookly app says I've read 18 books. I've read about 64 hours in September and almost 6,000 pages. Definitely pleased with that. I think that is a very successful Bookoplathon for 2021. So awesome. Thanks so much to Becca for hosting this. I had so much fun. If you participated, let me know how it all went for you. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below how was your reading week, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!